All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Garage Talk Sports. I'm Mills.
I'm Bobby.
And I'm Nick.
We're back in the garage bringing another episode to you guys. Excited to be here. Today's episode is going to consist of MLB, NBA talk. About halfway through the NBA or MLB season now, so kind of thoughts at the halfway point, what teams stand out, what players stand out, etc., things like that. Then we're going to dive into the NBA. See, Mojito night, I forgot to mention, it's Mojito night.
Bobby just giving me this look like you're drinking liquids on the podcast.
So NBA talk, we're going to talk some draft stuff because, it's towards the end of the playoffs, sort of.
Yeah.
So we'll dive into some draft analysis and stuff, and then we'll give some updates on the playoffs as well. Nick, I believe you said you'll be bringing live updates if possible, if the timing works out.
Yeah, I don't know when the time the game actually starts, but I have it pulled up so that if anything happens.
We'll see what happens. And then Nick, being our NBA guy, he's got some NBA hot takes that he wants to share with you. And as always, we wrap it up with his question of the week. But we'll dive into it with MLB talk first. First thing, our sticky stuff.
Yeah, our
sticky
first
stuff,
ejection.
Right? Yeah.
Against the White Sox.
I was at that game.
Really?
Yeah, I was at that because I had so that was the continuation of the doubleheader or of the Saturday game that got rained out.
Yeah.
And because I had tickets for the Sunday game, we got access to both of them. Mel, hat's right here, by the way. It's hot in the garage, so I'm not wearing it. So we got access to the continuation of the first game from Saturday as well as the Sunday game. So we watched the ejection happen. Very confusing. No one knew what was going on at first. And then all of a sudden, they just, he's out.
Yep. My funny thing is they ejected him.
After he was pulled.
He was out of he was not pitching the next inning. He was coming out. That was my whole thing. I was watching the game with my dad, and I'm like, they literally just ejected a guy who walked two batters and had the bases. He just walked the bases loaded. He was out there struggling. They're like, you know what? Now we're going to eject you.
It was funny. Literally, he got pulled from the game, but that's the rule they check, I guess.
Yeah, they check after time a pitcher leaves the playing.
Right,
so if he gets taken
it
out,
doesn't make. I don't know. That kind of is a backwards way to do things, in my opinion.
Yeah, and because they took his mitt for inspection, so if he's found that it is a banned substance, he could be suspended up for 10 games.
He got suspended for 10 games.
Okay,
yeah. He got suspended, but it's right now they just changed because they don't know what the rules are. He's not suspended until the authentication of if it was an illegal substance or not goes.
Okay, so he's in line for 10 games, barring anything changing.
Yeah, so it's almost like an appeal of suspension, except for the fact that it's not we're deciding if we're going to change the amount of suspension. It's either going to be 10 games or not. But right now, he can still play up until the point they said that was an illegal substance.
Yeah,
so what I've understood, I don't know for sure.
Right, and like Bobby said, this is the MLB's first ejection. So it's kind of we've seen this is a work in progress. It's been pretty painful to watch some of these pitchers get their inspections or whatever.
Yeah, Steven Strasburg got pissed.
Scherzer took his belt off. Sergio Romo pulled his pants down. So pitchers obviously aren't happy. Yeah. I don't think it's a very good system the way they're doing it.
I feel like it's screwed up for the simple fact is I was talking about this with my brother, and I was like, they don't really know what they just started. If this was opening day, they do these rules. I feel like an umpire will know this is sunscreen, sweat, and rosin mixed together. That's what that feels like. This is sap or some kind of sticky tack or something.
Some kind of tack.
But to just feel a glove and be like, this feels weird.
But this is sticky, and
there are some guys that sweat just
profuse. I'm sweating real right now.
That's what I'm saying. So you might feel his glove and be like, wow, that's sweatier than it should be, and then you feel Dylan Cease on the other end, and it's like, oh, it doesn't feel like this. But I'm like, that's two different guys with
it's
what if one of them's using Banana Boat and the other one's using Up and Up from Target? That's going to be a different consistency of sunscreen.
I swear it works different. No, it's a flawed system for sure, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And they definitely need to work these kinks out.
Yeah, this is something like Nick said. If this starts opening day, maybe there's less issues surrounding it. Pitchers are a little less ticked off. A lot of pitchers have pretty much admitted to using sticky stuff without saying it.
Yeah,
but we've heard what's the Rays pitcher? What's the name? Glasnow. He literally basically admitted to it. Said my goal is to win a Cy Young, yada yada. So if I need to use substances, I need to. Those were his words. He pretty much said it sucks that he can't use sticky stuff.
My whole thing is
Garrett Cole's horrible interview answer. He's things have been passed down. I don't know how to answer the question.
But Garrett Cole's been stinking it up lately.
A lot of guys are being caught with this.
So I think this is definitely, you're going to see a huge effect.
Well, my whole thing too about like the Mariners guy and like I don't like, why would you even try? Like, it's not like I could see maybe in a couple months if they're like, all right, every 3 innings we're going to check. But literally they check every inning, every time. I'm like, there's no way he got checked 2 innings before. You're going to tell me after he got checked twice, he went out there, put stuff onto his glove or his arm. And
that's something that doesn't make much sense.
Get it. So
they said it was found in his glove. That doesn't make sense to me. Either you or you. I don't know why, if you have been getting inspected at the end of every inning, you thought you could pull that off.
Yeah.
Which is why that's why I partially think he's got a case.
Well, plus he ran away. Like he made that joke, like he was like running away from getting inspected. I'm like, I don't feel like you're making that joke if you actually have stuff.
Yeah,
like,
there's some flaws with it.
And if you're using sticky stuff, you're not getting rocked like that in the inning.
He didn't get rocked, dude. He just walked a bunch of guys.
Yeah, but you would hopefully you would have more control.
Yeah, exactly. It's true.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. I'm in the side that I don't really think he was actually using anything. I kind of like what you were thinking. Dude probably sweat like a wildebeest into his glove and felt it like, oh, it's a little, sweat on leather can be a little sticky.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying umps are idiots, but sometimes umps are idiots.
You see Trevor Bauer's, he has a YouTube channel or whatever. Did you see him do, like, he put rosin and sweat on his palm and, like, straight up just went like this to a baseball and picked it up.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
oh, I did see that.
So I'm like, I mean, that has to be sticky. I can't just do that with a baseball and just have it just suction cup.
That's the thing. This is I'm not a big fan of how the MLB is conducting all of this.
Yeah, and I'm not a fan that they started it midway through the season. Yeah,
right.
Like if you're gonna start it at the beginning of the season,
right?
Or after the All-Star break.
Yeah,
because like during the All-Star break, I feel like what they're gonna do is train a bunch of umpires, and then there's gonna be a 5th umpire behind the catcher or whatever. And if he sees anything change inning to inning, or after they bring it out, and they're like, this feels sticky, they're going to bring it to that select umpire. And then they're going to be like, yeah, that's
so
possibly
you're thinking
a foreign
somewhere along the lines of how the NFL has like the like in-game spectator who looks for like head injuries, but instead of head injuries, it's like this kind of stuff on the mound.
They have the authenticator there who, like, if somebody comes in and like if Mitch Haniger would have hit 6 home runs in one game, like that would have been a ball that they would have to authenticate that that was the actual ball.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna have a guy sitting next to him where he's the umpire where he can be like,
he's the sticky stuff guy.
Yeah, he's like the expert on foreign substances.
Dude, what's your official job title? I'm the sticky stuff inspector.
I grab mitts and I'm like, yeah, it's sticky.
Yep, that does stick.
Well, I just
Awesome. Get him out of here.
10 games.
I saw a video. I think it was the Yankees about they zoomed in on the catcher, and on the inside of his mitt, he had what looked like pine tar and stuff like that. So I'm like, if he's getting the stuff on it, putting it on the ball, and then throwing it back to the pitcher, I feel like if that starts getting leaked out, that's going to be a thing.
Oh, that's some big brain.
They're gonna have to check the entire catcher attire. Like behind the knee pads, behind the shin guards, all that stuff. I'm like, it's getting too much to the point where I'm like, why are you trying?
Right? They're going to keep trying. They're definitely going to keep pushing.
They're not going to stop.
Yeah, it's unavoidable. Like
you can't. They're not going to stop. They've shown they're not going to.
Yeah,
it's the MLB. They're really good at doing things in a way that's like almost makes sense, but just doesn't.
Yeah.
They get like, oh, wait a second, they're on to something. And then they find a way to make it completely stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're all against cheating in this garage. But they somehow found a way to make us go, okay, this is kind of ridiculous the way they're trying to stop cheating.
Yeah, I don't want to watch a guy get inspected every couple innings.
At that game, like 15 minutes, this dude's glove was getting inspected.
Yeah, it's why stop? You're stopping the game.
They want people to watch the game. They want to get more people watching it. But they're like, hey, we're going to have this 15-minute pause. Like, if you're at the game, I feel like it's different because, like, you have to see him warm up or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm like, when you're watching on TV and you're sitting there in your living room for 15 minutes being like, this guy's
You're just watching Hector Santiago, just a guy, not even like a star, getting his glove inspected for sticky stuff after he walked the bases loaded.
Hector Santiago was like, this is my part-time job. Like, I gotta get back to my
dude,
other full-time
like,
job.
bro,
Can you
I
run some?
gotta be at the office at 5.
But you know what's funny? He was on the White Sox.
Yeah, he was on the Sox at one. Yeah.
So you know what? The White Sox knew he was using sticky.
Oh,
You
yeah.
are dumb as could be. What a
They
stretch.
called him out.
They did it on purpose.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theory right here.
They lost that game, so it didn't work for them.
But
Yeah, the only
tried
game
to
they
win
won,
it by that.
the only game they won this week was when they had the most players injured they've ever had. Because Abreu didn't play in that second game. So I'm like,
Oh, dude, that hit by pitch he took looked bad in real time, dude. Whew.
I saw it
Hey,
in slow
but,
motion. It made my knee buckle. I'll be honest.
I
I was
was
like,
uncomfortable. There was a moment where I sat there. I was like, all right, well, looks like we're officially just packing it in. For
And
the
that's the second time he got hit in the knee. Because remember the umpire threw the bat and it hit him right in the knee?
yeah.
Wait,
Dude, what does the MLB got against Abreu, man?
they're just like, yeah, this.
Because I was at that game. I'm like, how did he get injured? Like, I was just like, he was
Yeah, no, they
standing
just
there. I'm
tossed
like,
it back.
I did not see the bat get thrown.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude,
Well,
how
we were
is he out?
watching again. That was when we were on vacation. We thought the guy who slid into home got injured. We're like, okay, that makes sense. All of a sudden, it's like Abreu. It's
And
like,
then they
I
showed
was
us
like, wait, he
They
wasn't
showed it
even
in slow
in the
motion,
game.
and the bat just hits him in the knee. It's like, bro, what? But whatever. I think we kind of all agree this sticky stuff thing. It's a little.
It's
Yeah.
stupid.
Hopefully they'll figure it out.
It's stupid, but the rule is not
Right.
stupid.
The rule isn't stupid.
Yeah.
Like I said, the way they're going about it is dumb.
Yes.
So basically, we all agreed. Hey, we want cheating to stop, but you're not doing it.
Yeah.
So whatever. That is what it is. But so on. So what? We're about halfway through the season. All-Star. When's All-Star weekend?
The 18th, I believe.
18th of July.
18th
It's
of
right
July.
around there. I think it's the 17th or something. It's somewhere around there. It's like
Oh,
It's
midway through
approaching
July. Yeah.
at some point. It's coming up. But I'm excited for that. Trevor Story just declared he's going to do the home run derby.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that'll be cool.
July
He's my
13th.
favorite player.
Yeah,
Is
I
the
know.
All-Star game.
But
The 13th is the All-Star game.
Oh, the 13th?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
13th
I
is
think
the
they
All-Star
they
game.
come back the 18th or something, right?
I don't know.
I just know what the game
haven't
is.
paid-
I
I'm
looked
gonna
up
be
what
real
the
with
game
you. I
is.
haven't looked at it that much.
Yeah.
But halfway through the season now, MLB released their like all the major media outlets are releasing their power rankings. So we just kind of wanted to share our top teams at this point through the season. Halfway through, who is your number one team in baseball, Bob?
I'm going to go with the Astros.
The Astros.
They had a rocky start, but
Mhm.
like they've been dominating. Like they won the last 7 out of 3, and like the margin that they've been winning by is insane. Like they won 13-1 against the Blue Jays. Like they won 10-2 against the White Sox.
Astros have been dominant.
It's
They're on a 13-game win streak, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still active or if they've lost. I don't know.
No, I think they lost.
I think they
think
just
they
They
lost.
lost a couple because they were playing the Red Sox.
Gotcha.
So, but it's just insane how much they're winning by, and the bats are there. It's just if they could keep this up, I think they're definitely going to be leading that division and making.
Yeah, they've probably been the hottest team recently.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to go with the San Francisco Giants. I know earlier we said that the Giants were just riding a hot streak, but weren't like the best team in baseball. But here we are, 81 games into the year, roughly, right around that 80 game
About
mark,
halfway,
about
yeah.
halfway through. At some point, you have to realize this is more than a hot streak, and I think this is just a team playing really well.
Yeah, I'll give it to them, man.
First team to 50 wins. They deserve to have that number one ranking.
Oh,
We
yeah.
kind of disrespected them a little bit earlier on. We were kind of analyzing them, talking about how they're not there yet.
Yeah,
This is just kind of a fluke, but
I believe we all put them third in that division.
we all did. And
I think
you
I
know
had
what?
even lower
I'm
than
gonna
that when I first before the season started.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to apologize to the San Francisco Giants. I was wrong. Now that I said that, we're gonna see the Giants suddenly just, which would be classic.
Yeah, it would
Yeah.
be classic.
But I actually like the Giants. I don't know what it is. This is gonna sound really dumb, but I like to root for teams that are like orange and black are their colors.
You just
Why?
rooting for the Philadelphia Flyers out there? Is a hockey
I
team?
don't hate the Flyers. I don't root for them, but the Orioles and the Giants, for whatever reason, I've always just been like, yeah, go.
That's because those are
Like,
underdog
why?
teams.
Go
Like,
the Giants are not underdog teams.
Well,
I mean,
Normally
they
The
are.
organization isn't an underdog organization.
No.
In recent years, sure.
But I feel like even
Well-
like when they were winning every year, it's just always like, but who's on their team? It's like, Madison Bumgarner, Buster Posey.
Yeah,
like,
that's it. I mean,
that's who you
Brandon
name.
Crawford, I guess, but
Check the private chat. No, but Brandon, they have some old guys now that I think about it. Brandon, how old is Brandon Crawford?
we just went over this last week. 31.
No, he's only 31.
Yeah, I think so.
That can't be
I
right.
don't know. Can you remember things I tell you last week? Come
I
on,
don't
it's
think
only
you told me how old he
it's
was
only
last
a week ago.
Buster, remember a couple weeks ago we were saying, no one would know who Buster Posey is. A new fan wouldn't know who he is. They're playing really well, and
they have like all their guys are.
just contributing
Yeah,
at all
He's
levels.
34. Brandon Crawford.
I swear, I thought Brandon Crawford was like past 35.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
dude, he's
no.
been in the league like
feel like the
as
dude's
long
been
as I
around
can
forever.
remember.
He's been around forever. In
My
my eyes.
Buster Posey has to be like 40, right?
I mean, I'll look.
No,
I'll
Buster
look that up.
Posey's not that old. I don't think.
But Buster Posey also started when he was like.
He
19.
started right away and had some bad injuries.
Oh, I just typed in Bobby instead of Buster. What's
Give me Bobby Posey.
Well, like that's my like. I also think that the Giants are the best team in baseball right now, record wise and how they've been playing wise. But they're nowhere near the best team. Like they're not going to win.
They're deserving of that number
win the
one
World
spot.
Series. But
Oh, Nick.
Buster
Don't-
Posey also 34. Well, like here's my thing.
that
They're
division
the best team in baseball because they play in arguably the best team or the best division in baseball.
Yeah,
You look at other divisions, like there's teams or there's divisions that have 3 teams that are good. But to have 3 teams that are almost a 600 win percentage and you're leading that, but not by like a game or two, like you're leading it by a bunch. I feel like it's hard to say they're not the best team in baseball, but they're not the most talented team.
Yes,
They have
that's the way
Yastrzemski,
to put
it.
they have
Yeah,
Dawson, they have Buster Posey, and they have Brandon Crawford, who is maybe a top 5 defensive
I'm going to be
shortstop.
honest. I couldn't
but
even
not-
tell you a starting pitcher on that team.
Madison
Gossman.
Baumgart.
Oh, Gossman.
Madison Bumgarner got traded.
Bobby.
He got traded.
He's in the Diamondbacks, but
Oh,
As you guys can tell, Bobby doesn't follow too much.
if it's
baseball.
Chicago Cubs, he knows
If
everything.
it's the Cubs, Bobby
Yeah.
knows everything.
I didn't know he got traded,
He's
Ed.
been gone. I thought he just walked. I thought he just signed in free agency.
Maybe he signed a free agency.
He hasn't been there for a couple of years though. Bobby.
Oh, no, my bad, man. I'm thinking about like the 09 Giants then.
That was 12 years ago.
Yeah, he
It was
was
a long time ago,
yeah.
dude.
Dude, what?
I feel like 2009 was like the first time Madison Bumgarner.
Wait, what's that guy named? Tim something? Lincecum.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, he's
He's
gone.
been gone.
But man, he was insane back in the day.
Oh my gosh! Like bring me back to like 2013.
Yeah, dude.
Graduate
Before,
high
dude,
school.
that was before.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was
2013.
like 09.
He was.
No, I know, but like he was still.
No, I know, but his dominance ended in like 2010.
Yeah, but I used to play him in 2K. Back when they had 2K baseball, he was a beast.
I'm sure he
Okay.
was.
My whole thing is looking at this year. I feel like it's halfway through. I can honestly look at each division and say if they're barring any huge trades, blockbuster trades, any team that's in first place right now will not finish in first place by the end of the season.
I don't fully agree.
I'm on the same boat as you. I think teams.
I think
are
a lot
going-
of the divisions are up for grabs.
yes.
But if I had to say, this is going to sound like a total like White Sox homer fan kind of thing, but the AL Central as a division has not been playing very well. And so the White Sox have gone they're 2-6 in their last 8 games and still have like a 4-game lead on the division. No one else in that division is playing well enough.
2 games.
Oh, is it 2 now?
Yeah.
I still, that division has still been struggling too much for me to say that.
No, definitely.
It might
AL
trade back and forth, but I honestly think
Yeah, I
once
mean,
the
it's-
White Sox answer some
it's
issues.
It's a White Sox and the Indians. Like
Yeah.
I did. Like they.
It
those are
feels
one of
like
those two
who's
are
going to
win.
shoot themselves in the foot
Yeah.
more than like who's going to like just.
For me, my only concern is the White Sox not trading anyone. They had a very hot first part of the season. Before Magical gets hurt and they have a bad last 15, 16 games, they had a very hot first half. If they have a cold first half and Minnesota has a hot second half, I feel like Minnesota can jump ahead of them and they're not going to.
Minnesota's like one of the worst teams in baseball right
Yeah,
now.
dude.
They're in
They're
third place in the division.
yeah,
They're
but-
11 and a half games behind, but like I look at it the same way as if the Twins were in 13, like Houston did, and comes out of nowhere to go into first. if the Twins win 13 in a row and the Sox have one more skid where they lose like
I guess I see
10,
what you're saying. They're actually playing tonight, Sox and Twins. So
yeah, that's and like how every single division is had that last month is like 90% of your games is against your own division.
Yeah.
So the Twins get a lot of games against the Sox at the end, and if the Sox go into one of their skids then, and the Twins win 6 out of 10 against the Sox, that's 6 full games that they're coming back, which means
the issue the Sox are running into right now is their offense has just gone really cold.
Yeah, and they don't have the bullpen.
Bullpen was supposed to be one of their strengths this year,
But
and
it's not that. It's just not there.
I know. No,
that
they've
was
been
my whole thing
struggling.
is like
It's frustrating to watch.
I didn't understand everyone who's like the bullpen was going to be a strength when you added Liam Hendricks and maybe you added Michael Kopech because like he wasn't so much in the know last year. But really, you only added that, and literally the reason you lost to the A's was because of the bullpen.
No, they lost to the A's because that wasn't necessarily the bullpen. That was Ricky Renteria using 6 bullpen pitchers and like 6.
No, I know, but like he did. It's because he didn't have if he had Liam Hendricks would have pitched in that game and they would have won.
Well, no. So this is what happened in that game was that oh man, what's his name? I'm drawing a blank on his name. So they had a rookie pitcher who they traded for. He was in the trade for Lance Lynn. Why can't I remember his name?
Dane Dunning?
Dane Dunning started that game of the playoffs, and he pitched 1 inning. And then Crochet came in, and Crochet injured his throwing arm. So he came out. Then Renteria just blew up and just started every 3 batters brought in a new pitcher. So it wasn't that and even then they lost by 1 run in that game.
Yeah.
And the bullpen didn't blow it for them, but Renteria horribly managed the bullpen in that game, and the bullpen was a strength last year. They had one of the lowest ERAs in the league as a bullpen.
Yeah, but they also didn't have that many guys that hit. Like you're going to have a low ERA if you don't have a guy if you don't have the same 7 guys. Because
they used Cody Hoyer, Matt Foster, Aaron Bummer, Alex Colomé, Evan Marshall. That's 5 guys. They used them regularly. Then they had Jimmy Cordero, who was pretty good as well. The 7th guy was Kelvin Herrera, who wasn't too hot, but they had 6 guys that were very good for that bullpen. Problem is, for whatever reason, we didn't want to in that game, Renteria didn't want to let the starter go more than 1 inning. Yeah,
I mean that's always going to screw you up. And I feel like what comes into it more is not so much a bad bullpen, but they have a very young.
They're young.
They didn't have any bullpen
2 rookies on that
who had been to the postseason. I feel like.
Well, no, because they'd all developed with the White Sox.
Yeah,
which is I feel like that's where I draw the bullpen. You could be the best relief pitcher in the entire season, but if you have never stepped on the mound in a playoff game, you're not ready to be in there. If you're not, if you're a absolute stud best pitcher like Jacob deGrom, he would still probably struggle if that was his first playoff appearance coming up.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
If you have all of your
it depends person to person.
But I feel like as a coach, you're not gonna trust. Oh, hey, 19-year-old guy who has been really good this season, but also not had the pressure of if you blow this, we're done. We're not playing tomorrow.
Yeah, but
you're gonna take your guys out faster. Whereas you're gonna put Liam Hendricks or a guy like Andrew Miller or Aroldis Chapman, like when Jim Madden.
The problem was that.
Whoever the Cubs manager was when they won, I'm just drawing a blank on it.
John Madden.
John,
you're the Cubs fan.
Joe Madden.
It was Joe Madden.
Yeah.
Wow, dude, big Cubs fan over here, Nick.
Hey,
big Cubs fan.
He had Aroldis Chapman.
That was a bad slip up.
He had Aroldis Chapman where if it was a 1-run game, he would feel comfortable putting Aroldis Chapman in the 7th inning and going 7, 8, 9. And as long as he didn't give up a run, he was going to pitch.
But he did overmanage that bullpen.
For sure. But with the Sox bullpen, it's gosh, how long do I leave in a guy who's a rookie, even if he gets 1 guy on base? I feel like with Liam Hendricks, he gets a guy on base. Okay, he's going to be able to get out of this. Rookie guy, all of a sudden it turns into 8 games.
You can't expect a bullpen pitcher. You can't be. If he lets a guy on base, I have to take him out. That's a bad manager. If you're not going to allow a guy to work out of a situation.
But in the playoffs you can't do that.
But he wasn't letting guys were getting on first base.
But at a certain point, he gets on first base, then he walks the next guy because he's worried, and then the next guy gets a single. Now it's bases loaded.
Yeah, but Nick,
and now you're bringing in another rookie guy.
Way too many what ifs to say That you can't
But
justify.
that's how fast baseball it changes
Sure,
on a dime.
but for all you know, it doesn't happen that way, and the guy gets out of the inning with just letting one runner on first base.
That's what I'm saying.
You
But it's a young pitcher
Sure.
with a stud.
Every player has to get the experience. If a manager isn't going to let a guy get experience, you can't go, well, that's the player's fault that his manager didn't.
I'm not saying it's the player's fault.
I get what Nick's saying. It's in
being.
playoffs, there's a lot more pressure on the manager. So, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to leave someone in there and then you lose that game and you potentially lose your job.
He screwed himself up.
He lost his job because of the way he managed that bullpen.
He screwed himself up
he
more
was
from Dane Dunning coming out in the first inning than anything he did with taking up bullpen pitchers. Because a starting pitcher with their
I mean,
offense,
even the best managers overmanage their bullpen.
Right,
Like,
but
in the playoffs,
all I'm saying
especially.
is if he lets Dane Dunning go 5 innings and pitch, then if he brings in a relief pitcher every single inning, he's fine. So he screwed himself up there. But he also got screwed by saying, I can't go and put a relief pitcher out there who I know can pitch 3 innings, because in his mind, he's thinking whatever rookie or young guy I put out there, as soon as the guy gets on first base, he's going to have a breakdown. And that's what's running through Renteria's head, where if he has a guy like Liam Hendricks or Chapman, he goes, guy gets on first base, I can leave him in. He gets out of the inning. He gets through the next 2 innings.
I guess my question is, it's okay to not trust your guys after a season because they haven't played. Or you're saying it's okay to have doubts about your guys in the playoffs because they haven't played there before, but they went a whole season and have been lights out for you.
I'm saying that when you come to a playoff situation where you're a young relief pitcher, relief pitching in baseball is the most stressful position in baseball,
right?
Let alone most sports. Maybe a field goal kick if you haven't kicked all game to tie the game or win the game.
Okay,
probably just as stressful. So if you don't experience during the regular season, you have experiences of being in pressure situations, but in the playoff, it's a completely different, especially in an elimination game.
Right. So your manager shouldn't trust you.
No, your manager should trust you, but as being a player who's never been there before, I can see where I can't let this snowball from a guy getting on first turning into a 7-run inning where now we have to chase 7 runs in a playoff game.
That's thinking way too far ahead if someone just gets on first base. It's one thing if, you walk a guy to first, give up a hit. Okay, that's different. But you're going to face one batter right at the start of an inning, he gets on first base, and then you're like, all right, I already got to work on getting this guy out of the game because he allowed a base runner. Players get on base.
No, players do that. I'm just saying.
And if you're not going to allow your guys to try to get out of it, there's a point where you step in, but to draw the line at my young, inexperienced pitcher let someone get on base, and now I don't trust him because he's inexperienced, that's not a good manager. That's not a good way to manage your bullpen, regardless of playoffs or not. Sure, it helps to have someone who's been there before. But we're talking in that specific game, 3rd inning, you're not putting Liam Hendricks on the mound.
No, you're not putting Liam Hendricks on the mound. But in that situation with that game, I feel like he could have used a starting pitcher longer. So now you're in the 5th inning. Now when you get into the 6th inning,
and I agree with you on
6th inning, Cody Hoyer comes out, walks the first guy. I'm seriously thinking maybe I take him out right now.
Well, you can't. The 3-hitter rule now.
Well, okay, but I'm saying like every 3 hitters, I'm like, as soon as I can take him out, I might be taking him out. Because if it's a 1-run game in the 8th inning, I feel like, I don't know what the stat is. I don't know if it's the 6th or 7th. It is almost impossible to score 2 runs statistically after the 7th inning. If you're down 1,
I'm not disagreeing with that.
That runner instantly turns into possibly making or breaking the game, which means I can't let him score.
And I'm not disagreeing with that fact about the starting pitcher. But if you're going to not trust your starter and you're going to pull him in the 1st inning after he allowed, I think it was 2 guys got on base in the 1st inning, and you're like, all right, nope, we got to take him out because he's young. Okay, but there's no excuse for why you're then going to do that with every other guy.
No, I don't think there is. I didn't think he should have taken Dane Dunning out. I never said that. I just said
that's why I'm saying I don't think it's fair to judge the bullpen based on how they were handled in that game.
No, I judge the bullpen by not having experience. For a different reason, I feel like a better manager would have handled it better.
Yeah.
But I feel like the same manager with better experienced players is going to still manage that game better.
Yeah. So I think it's just more of, such a huge stage, and that's when your job's on the line. So, you know what I mean? Like, you overmanage because you try to.
And Ricky Renteria got fired for it.
Yeah. No, he did get fired for it. And
ultimately, the reason they lost that game, I'm not going to say is the bullpen. I'm going to say it's Renteria screwing his guys over.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what happened.
Because we had Giolito in his first ever playoff game pitched a no-hitter into the 7th inning. That's an example of a guy who's never played in the playoffs before and rose to the occasion. So you can't say because someone's young, inherently you have to be skeptical of their ability to pitch.
I never said that, but I'm saying if Lucas Giolito in the first inning gives up 6 hits, I might take him out.
Okay, but that's completely different than one guy on base like we're talking about.
But as a relief pitcher who normally pitches 1 inning, maybe 2 innings, giving up 1 hit changes it to the starting pitcher. That's like giving up 3 or 4 hits.
I don't agree with that.
My whole thing is what screwed them a lot was they were a young team. So once they didn't like just dominate straight off the bat and they didn't have their starting pitching out there, they started to get in their own heads because they needed to score more runs. They were used to scoring more runs than that. But the dominant A's bullpen shut them down for the past 5-6 innings. So
they lost that game by 1 or 2 runs. I don't remember exactly. We're talking like they got like the team melted down because of that. What happened is Ricky Renteria mismanaged the bullpen and messed up the game for him, killed momentum. If you're sitting there on the bench and you're watching your manager pull out pitcher after pitcher, naturally as position players, when you go up to bat, you're going to think, well, now we really have to run up the score. In my opinion, Renteria, by doing that with his pitchers, forced his batters to be more aggressive than they needed to be because he put more pressure on them to produce because the message that was sent to that team was that I don't trust any of these pitchers to be able to go more than 3 batters.
Yeah, but
it screws up an entire team's mentality. We can debate this all day. I think we all agreed Renteria mismanaged the bullpen.
Yeah, no, it was poor management.
What I'm saying is that it's not fair to judge a bullpen because they're young and inexperienced. Yes, you want experienced guys, but you can't sit there as a team making the playoffs for the first time in like 12 years, expect every guy in your bullpen to be able to have been in the playoffs before. They were a young team, and you can't manage it. You can't manage it like you would a team that has the bullpen experience. You didn't have it. So you have to put trust in your guys as a manager. Tell them, show that team that you believe they're good enough to get out of a situation, even when we're talking a situation as a runner on first base. Show that you actually trust your guys. I don't care if he's a rookie. He's in the MLB. You trusted him to be in there in that position, so let him get out of his situation. Now, if he melts down and walks 2 guys, then it's a different story. But to take a guy out because he gave up he allowed a base runner as a relief pitcher, you're not going to help your team at all with that.
My whole thing is looking at it. They gave up 4 runs in the 4th inning. I pulled out the box score. They gave up 4 runs in the 4th inning, 2 runs in the 5th. In the 6th, 7th, and 8th, their bullpen didn't give up any runs. But the Sox failed to score any runs in the 6th, 7th, 8th, or 9th. So I feel like as a team, regardless of what's happening with the bullpen, you still need to get hits and still put.
You do have to get hits, but you were forced to be aggressive.
I don't agree with any. I feel like whatever's happening with the pitching side, the hitting side's different. You're
welcome to think that way, Nick. But if you think that the way your pitchers are being managed doesn't affect the way your offense plays, I think that's being a little bit ignorant to it. But
I feel like with a more experienced team, you're not. I feel like
there's talking about Nick.
No, but they were
in the playoffs for the first time in 12 years. You can't just hone in on the experience alone.
Well, I'm saying they're a very young team. You could have a team that hasn't been in the playoffs in 15 years, but they're all older and more experienced. I feel like they're going to have better success when they're like, we know how a manager manages versus not how a manager manages. My whole thing is I feel like people who blame Renteria purely on like that game losing, I feel like they can't say that. They didn't hit very well. They didn't do their bullpen did okay after giving up 4 runs, 2 runs.
Yeah, and that time is when he was just jumping through pitcher after pitcher.
But my whole thing is you can't purely blame Renteria for them losing that game. You have to put some blame on the bullpen because they still gave up 6 runs. And you have to put some blame on the hitters because after the 5th inning, when they scored a run, they failed to score anything. So it's like, I understand that, yes, Renteria poorly managed it, but also you're an MLB player. You get put on the team to do a job. As a relief pitcher, you should know before the 3-out rule, the guys came in literally to face a lefty-lefty and then get taken out of the game. So you should be able to go in there, pitch 1 batter, 2 batter, 3 batter, get out, not give up a run. If you're a solid bullpen team, it doesn't matter how many innings you pitch, how many batters you face. You should be able to go out there, have a low ERA, and they didn't that game. Yeah, it's a bad idea to take your starting pitcher out in the first inning when he hasn't given up any runs. I think that's stupid.
Yeah.
But if your pitcher gets hurt in the first inning in a playoff game, and it's like, hey, we're going bullpen from 2nd through 9th, everyone in that bullpen should be like, okay, we're ready to do this. If you take me out after 3 batters, 4 batters, whatever, we're not going to give up any runs. They gave up 6. You're not going to win many games when you give up 6 runs. So it's like,
all right, we'll agree to disagree on this.
Yeah.
But I think we're all in agreement. Rick Renteria definitely mismanaged that game and lost his job because of it. So
I was
moving on,
compared to the same thing. Joe Madden would have lost his job.
yes, if we lost the
they
World
lose
Series,
2016,
yes, he would.
Joe Madden's gone.
Yeah, he would have got fired that year. But moving on, I do think that we're going to see a lot of teams get moved out of first before the end of the season. But I think there is a lock on some of them. Like, I think Houston's definitely going to have a lock on it. I don't think that Athletics are going to be able to pull it off.
I always get scared, though, just when you watch a team.
I don't doubt the A's, man.
When they win 13 in a row.
Laureano,
I mean, yeah, but dude,
my man.
when they're dominant,
If he ever gets traded to the Sox, you're buying his jersey.
I want to buy his jersey just now as
No,
an
I
A's
know,
player.
but
He is my favorite player that's not on the White Sox.
but like AL East,
Easily.
Oh, yeah.
I love
AL
that,
East
man.
definitely. I think that there's Blue Jays, Red, or Red Sox.
I still believe the Blue Jays can pull out that division.
I'm still going for the Rays.
I still think so too.
Wow, what a bold pick.
Like, and there's a lot of teams like the National League. I think the Mets have a lock on the NL East.
the Jacob DeGroms have a lock on the NL.
Yeah, it's
The DeGrom, yeah, right. Just rename them. Jeez.
because literally the Nationals are sitting at 500. I know.
I don't
they're
think it's
only-
the Braves. Like with that team,
What are
they have to
Dude,
do
don't.
something. You
Don't
can't-
get me started.
They've been underperforming all year. It's just
Well, it's my
It
whole
is
thing.
what
Is
it
like,
is, man.
when you have like Acuna, you got Freeman, you got Dan's baby Swanson, you got. I mean, you got guys that should be producing and leading the division, and then the Mets score no runs even when Jacob DeGrom pitches.
Yeah,
Like, how
but-
do you not?
It's
just-
whatever, man.
at this point.
I don't know.
They played very poorly for this first half. I don't think they're going to change it.
Ever
at
since
this
they
point.
imploded in the playoffs, they've just like underachieved.
Well, yeah,
They also, correct me if I'm wrong, they don't have very reliable starting pitching.
I feel like they never really do. It's always like, hey, we
They
got
haven't had it since
the only-
what was the big three? They had John Schmaltz,
Tom Glavine
Tom
and
Glavine, and Greg
Maddux.
Maddux. Ever
Yeah.
since those three, the Braves sold their souls to the pitching gods for that.
Well,
for that
they had
trio.
Dallas Keuchel, and then it's like all
Yeah,
of a
but-
sudden, like he has one season where he gets hurt, and then he never can pitch in a Braves uniform. And they're like, "Hey, let's ship him to Houston," and then bam, I know how to pitch again.
I think
Yeah.
Max Fried is the only like reliable guy they
He's
have.
young.
Yeah,
He's young.
yeah.
Well, I
So-
think they just got rid of Mike Soroka, who like used to be like their stud ace. Where it's like
Dude, I
when you
don't
have
know who that
when you
is.
have a stud ace who like 50% of the baseball world doesn't really know that well, you're probably not a great pitching team.
Yeah, no, they pitching has always been a weak spot for them, which is a shame because Acuna is a star. Freddie Freeman,
Yeah.
is just like one of the gold standards at first base.
Austin Riley.
Dan's baby Swanson,
They
very
have-
very
they have
Ozzy
a-
Albies, I always
Ozzy
forget about him.
Albies.
He's good,
Yeah, wait, Ozzy Albies is better than Dansby Swanson.
but Dan's baby, like
I mean, he just
Either way,
can't
the
hit.
Braves are just get some pitching and they'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I kind of, similar to the Blue Jays are like, I honestly think they're a starting pitcher away from being like a real threat in that division.
yeah. Because Robbie Ray.
What's his name? Ryu something.
Yeah,
Kim Ryu.
Yeah.
Kirby Yates is that's a bullpen arm. Like,
Yeah, he's a closer. Very good one at that. But
I feel like the Blue Jays and Braves could probably have some success if they try to go the Rays route of having an opener, where like we're gonna have a relief pitcher pitch 2 innings and then bring in our starter.
I don't know enough about the Blue Jays bullpen though.
I don't.
I
I,
just-
don't
I feel
think
like
it's.
Kirby Yates.
Well,
That's
my
all
whole
I got
thing is
for
if
I
it.
they
don't think it's that
if
impressive,
they
to
can
be honest
clone
with
Kirby
you.
Yates and use him to open and close the game.
Well, I don't know.
Like-
Cloning technology is a little above our.
Yeah,
Hey, that's technically
we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
but I do agree with you to some extent. I do think a lot of these divisions are going to be.
yeah, they're
shaken up.
mostly open.
fair point. I thought the Cubs were in first when I made that prediction. I don't think the Cubs are going to win that division.
Brewers.
I have a strong feeling the Brewers
they're
and
on
the
a
Cardinals.
lucky hot streak.
Brewers,
They're
dude,
about
they put up 10 on the Cubs.
Yeah, dude, that was
in one inning.
That was a sad
And the Cubs
inning,
play
I
the
know.
Dodgers and just got, starstruck in
Oh, we
LA
threw a
land.
no hitter.
In the other
Yeah.
2 games, they got wrecked.
Hey, we swept them before, so
Okay,
all right,
before
relax,
and
all right?
now it's 2 different things. You lost 2 out of 3. Yeah,
Same
you threw a
Brewers,
no hitter, but you could throw 3 no hitters in the playoffs and you still lose the best of 7 series.
Don't sleep on
All
the
right,
Brew
so
Crew,
what is
man.
it? Last week you're hating on Wrigley, now you're hating on the Cubs. All right,
Also, you know what? I want to
yeah.
retract something.
Okay.
After I took some time to walk around the G spot, guaranteed rate field. There's actually some pretty decent stuff amenities wise there.
Oh, I do have a point to prove to Nick though. So the day after we filmed our podcast, I'm looking on Facebook, pops up, the power rankings of stadiums, right? I don't know how, just pops up.
That's the government. That's Uncle
Yeah.
Sam.
So, guess
Big brother.
take a
Big
guess.
brother.
Take a
Big
guess
brother.
what's number one on
Of
the
course,
list.
I'm sure it's Wrigley.
I don't know. Did you see the study that they had 5 years ago about the dirtiest ballpark in baseball?
Wait.
Wrigley Field was first by like thousands of microbes
What?
of bacteria. I'm guessing it was first, but
It
I don't
was
know
first.
who wrote
So,
it. So if it was a Cubs fan who wrote it, then yeah, they
so,
probably put it first.
I just want you to retract that statement.
I
not
don't
gonna
think
take
I'm
it
not
back.
gonna retract
I
that
don't
statement.
think either. Listen,
The
Wrigley
Cubs
Field's
are in the
old.
bottom
That's cool.
5 of cool looking stadiums. They're
It's
not
cool.
They're
They have
not
I-
cool. It's
They
just
got
history.
ivy on the walls. That's pretty cool and all that. But you know what? When I'm at a stadium, I kind of like the amenities a little bit more. The stuff I get to enjoy.
Did you know that the
I don't get
Marlins
to enjoy being
the
on
Marlins
the field
used to have
running into the
fish?
ivy wall. All right, I get to go to the Revolution
Running in.
Tap, the Goose Island Bar. I get to go to the fun things, the Kid Zone. I'm not a kid, but when I was a
but it's
kid,
closed
that-
because of COVID.
No,
Or is it
open.
it's over now?
No,
Oh,
no,
that's
I
cool.
wish I was a child. I'd go back up there. I got to race Scott Podsednik again.
I feel like you could do that even if you're not a child.
I don't know. I think you can, but
I
You're like,
know,
"Ah, my kid
yeah,
ran
that
up
was-
there, I swear.
I didn't want to loan me their kids so I can go up there. They get a free Sox game out of it. Just kidding. You have to pay for the ticket.
And you have to show up. We're not
No,
just
but
gonna,
you
you're
know
not just
what?
gonna watch a kid.
Guaranteed rate field name sucks. Dimensions of the ballpark, pretty much just like copy, look up definition of baseball field, and that's pretty much what you get. But in terms of like the stuff to do, the different amenities, the Jack Daniels bar, there's the Beggar's Pizza bar, there's all kinds of like stuff that's cool to do, like as a fan there, which I like. Name sucks, park dimensions kind of suck.
And location sucks.
Location sucks.
Yeah.
But you can actually have fun there because they've got some different bars, some different tap
Oh,
houses.
you can
and
have
everything.
fun as much as you drink.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just really
They
how
have
much
the-
money are you willing to drop
They have
at
the
that point.
Chicago Sports Depot, which is pretty cool. That's every sporting event. Dude. What are you talking about?
I did
As if
see.
it's cheaper at Wrigley.
I did see that the Chicago White Sox are the most. They get the most drunk fans.
I'm sure.
Oh, I can
But-
believe it.
Dude, they got like
But
5
it's-
bars in that.
It's
Yeah.
weird too because like I feel like drunkest fans. It's only after they go into the gates. So like I feel like Wrigley fans, they're hitting 5 bars on the way.
Oh,
into the
yeah, it's a lot
stadium,
easier
and then
to
they're
just-
not buying anything because they're already passed out drunk in
Right,
the
but
bleachers.
at guaranteed
But I guarantee rate,
spot.
you can't drink.
At
And
the
when
G-spot.
when there was no tailgating, the only way you could drink and get drunk was inside. So like, of course, that's gonna change.
Yeah, dude, the bars are. I actually like the bars. Sure, you pay a lot of money as you do at any baseball stadium, but
that's my thing.
They've got a few bars. They've got different like
Teams that are out there, open up a stadium, maybe like $3 a beer.
Dude,
Like
Mercedes, the Atlanta Falcons Stadium is super cheap. Look up the prices of everything
for
there.
food and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I feel like that's got to be a great idea. I
Look it
would,
up, dude. If you get like a full pizza for like $12 there.
yeah,
Like,
okay.
look it up.
I'm moving right now.
So,
I'm excited.
are we about to go on vacation to Atlanta to go?
I
to
don't need to go to Atlanta, dude. I would love. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I'm
go,
sure
go
I'd
to
like
Atlanta
to go to
Falcons
I
team.
like to go to a game, but I know someone from Atlanta. You said Atlanta's not that fun of a place.
Yeah, but
No disrespect to those of you out there from Atlanta. I'm just relaying what I've been told, so don't
Hey,
take it personally.
we could just go to the
Game and out.
yeah,
Fly in,
game out.
fly
Yeah,
out.
exactly.
Same day.
Oh, yeah.
Same day shipping.
Nah,
In and
I mean,
out.
we need a day. We'd probably stay there, but
Bobby, you like to go on vacation.
Damn,
everywhere.
dude, hot dog $1.50.
You see,
Dude,
I'm
gotta
not,
be
I
kidding.
wasn't messing with
$1.50?
you. Everything is so cheap.
dude, come on, that vacation will be cheap.
You're
Right.
telling me I
The
have
plane ticket to the game, and all the food and drinks would be cheaper than a ticket to a Bears game at Soldier
That's
Field.
true. I looked them up, dude. They're like
Or
150
Arlington
for like
Park
terrible
Field.
seats.
Yeah, 150, and you get to pass out from altitude sickness.
Yeah. I wanted to go see Jared Goff.
Yeah, but don't worry. Once they move to Arlington Heights and they add like like 16,000 seats or something. Which, by the way, if that happens, my wait list for season tickets is over.
So
we need
so
to. Hey,
yeah.
McCaskies, if you're listening, move. That would be pretty cool.
I swear, if you charge more than
I looked up
$1.50 for a hot dog,
But
I'm
if
going to be upset now.
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna be
pay
upset.
more than $150.
You know what? I'll go $2 because it's a Chicago hot dog.
Yeah.
We're in Chicago. I
Okay.
can see you bumping up 50
I don't even
cents.
need.
But I did look up. I saw this article that said that the Arlington Heights racetrack is 325 acres.
It would be the largest property out of any stadium.
Yeah, and they only
Just
have
have 5
7
stadiums.
acres
A
right
different
now.
stadium every week.
Yeah.
So it's like
I meant to bring that up. I was talking about that with my dad this weekend. Yeah, no, it's 3. They would have the largest property.
you're talking. You could add casinos, hotels, like that.
A
Like it
parking
would,
lot to tailgate in.
yeah, it would literally open
Yes.
that city up. So I think Arlington is going to definitely
I
push.
think
for
I
it,
really
like,
think it's
yeah.
a real play. The bid was accepted, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
But we kind of digressed there. We got a little off topic.
yeah,
Enjoy the little football talk we had there,
Yeah.
guys.
we did.
We had
Basically-
to mellow out after
Yeah.
the argument.
Yeah, to
We had.
summarize, guaranteed rate, cool amenities, field's kind of boring. Wrigley Field, cool historic field. Not much to do outside of watch the game, though. And
Go to bars.
that doesn't
after the
count as
game.
Wrigley.
That-
That doesn't count as Wrigley.
That counts as Wrigleyville.
No. That's the
No.
surrounding area. We're talking about inside the
I'm
stadium.
not sure it says Wrigleyville, so it counts.
Okay, can we talk about that for
Yeah,
a second?
I'm
First
totally-
of all, in Chicago, definitely Chicago White Sox take on the City Connect jerseys much better than the Cubs.
You have
But
to admit the Cubs City
if
Connect
you-
jerseys were mad.
If anyone look up Arizona
Yeah,
Diamondbacks.
okay, let me go walk down to the swap and buy my generic jersey from the guy over there. All right, that's what it looks like.
Who's?
What? The Sox?
The Sox.
No, that's what the Cubs
The
looks like.
Southsiders.
If you show
I
up to
like
any high
Wrigleyville.
school that has blue and like light blue, that's their jersey.
That's a boring jersey. Come on. Let's put partisan.
Okay, but you have to admit those look like you bought your jersey at the
But the
swap.
White Sox
Well, it's the
look
City
cool.
Connect. It looks
Yeah.
cool. I'm not South Side. Yes, it's the
I don't
South
care.
Side of Chicago.
I'll
Wrigleyville,
shut
yes,
I'll
it's in
shut down this
Wrigleyville.
argument
We're
right
not-
now. Google Arizona Diamondbacks City Connect jersey right now,
All right.
and you will instantly be like, our cities are stupid because, well, first of all, they
I
also
just-
have a rattlesnake
The
on it
thing that I
because
didn't like
they
about
have a
the
cooler
one was the
logo.
like navy blue they put on it.
I like it.
It's not even a colors color. They're not navy. They're royal.
But it's City Connect.
Whatever.
I feel like the Cubs could have definitely went like Chicago flag style like
yeah, there's
jerseys,
so much more stuff they could have done.
but they were just like, nah.
Like,
Yeah,
Blue and
they
light
could have
blue.
done, but
The-
I like it. I think it
The White Sox one like paid tribute to like the South American and like Latin connection that team has with that surrounding community and everything. That's why the font was the way it was in the makeup of
Wrigleyville,
it
they
was-
should have just put a beard.
Wrigleyville, they just put Wrigleyville.
yeah,
Right.
it looks cool. I like it. But these Diamondback ones,
Let me see them. I haven't seen it.
they're really cool.
We're just gonna
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool, guys.
Yeah.
look it up. Look it up. If you
Look it
have
up,
free
guys.
Yeah,
time.
look it
haven't
up
gotten
if you have a
Look it up.
chance. It's
We
really cool.
really digressed there, but that was
Yeah.
a good topic.
Let's
Good
let's move
conversation.
on to.
Well, let's get into the sport. We have some money on the line with this next one. NBA.
I have some money on
I
it.
thought
wait,
the deal was you and Eddie versus me and Ryan.
Is that what we're doing? We're all throwing 20 on it though.
I'm not throwing 20.
Dude, it's $20.
Dude, do I look like a millionaire?
It's $20.
I'm
Like,
wearing a free Hawaiian t-shirt.
it's
I'm
$20.
sweating my ass off in a garage. Do I look like a millionaire? Fine, maybe. I'll
All
think
right,
about it.
yeah, just
But
throw
I'm in
20
on the bet. We'll discuss the logistics of money later.
I feel like you guys should just do West and East because there's a chance that what happens
West and East. Let's
Yeah, we'll
change
do
to
West and East.
All right.
Yeah,
Me and Ryan are on the West.
Yeah, and then I'm
Yeah,
gonna take the
I
East.
feel
Yeah.
pretty confident.
Yeah,
with that.
I feel
because you and Eddie or Bobby and Eddie had the Bucks.
I feel pretty confident with that.
Okay,
But basically, yeah. So, dude,
let's talk playoffs first, then we'll go to
Yeah,
lottery
yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Just because
I was
we've
about
already
to-
started.
we started that way. Our
Yeah.
order was about to make no sense.
All right, so Suns versus Clippers. Suns are up 3-2 now.
Yep, they are.
because the
Clippers
Clippers
came
won
with one
yesterday.
game 5.
But my whole thing is Kawhi Leonard is yet to play, and I feel like if he doesn't play, I can't see the Suns losing 2 straight games.
No, I don't see it either. Like and
Suns
it's
have
been a
been
close
dominant, man.
battle. Like I will say, it's been a close battle.
The Suns are just a complete
But-
team right now.
Yeah,
I'm trying to. What was the score? It was 14 points again. So in the 5 games that have been played, they've all been within 14 points, and every time the Suns win, it's not by a lot.
yeah.
So
No,
that's-
it's like by 1 or 2 points. Like
That
It's been a good
Yeah,
series,
like-
even though people thought it was going to be Suns in 5. It's been a pretty good series, though. It's been close. It's been competitive.
I feel like it all comes down to Paul George is finally playing playoff basketball. Like I don't know if you guys remember, because I don't know how much basketball you watch, but Paul George on the Pacers was like, besides LeBron James, he was the most dominant player in the East. Yeah. And then ever since his injury, and then just like him not being the only star on the team, he has just crumbled under. I don't know if it's pressure. I don't know if it's like, I feel like when you're playing with Kawhi Leonard, you should have less expectations on you. You should be like, you know what, I have to do less work. And he just like, hey, wide open three, I can't make it. But when I was in Indiana and I had 5 guys on me, I would just train threes all the time.
It's been a tight series. I'm tough. I'm torn because Kawhi Leonard is my favorite player in the NBA. I'm just a fan of his.
I get it, but he already has a ring, man. Let CP3 get a chance.
I'm rooting for the Suns, but this is like one of those things. It's like, man, I want to see.
It's not like Suns Lakers where you're like, screw LeBron. He's more
like, I like Kawhi because he just seems to be the super team killer.
Yeah,
like that's his thing. And I wouldn't call the Suns a super team. They're just a complete team.
Yeah,
they play complementary basketball, which is very rare nowadays in the NBA. It's a lot of just high-profile scores and seeing, who can do the most for their team in each game.
Yeah.
So that's why I like a lot about what the Suns have. Plus Frank Kaminsky, Wisconsin great.
He went to school in Batavia.
I don't know. My friend.
He went to school right across from.
My friend, shout out John Stark, cousins with Frank Kaminsky.
No way.
Yep. I swear. And if you see him, you'd understand why. They're both like 7 feet tall.
He is just really tall.
One had basketball ability. The other one was like,
So Frank Kaminsky, when he had it with his shoe deal, gets like 30 free shoes a month from Jordan or whatever it was through. And he would just give all those shoes he didn't want to my friend John.
Nice.
Because they're both like a size 22.
Oh my God.
Not like size 15. I don't know. I'm exaggerating. They're both very tall.
Well, I mean, you got like centers in basketball and then like linemen in football. It's like, what size shoe do you wear? 24. I'm like, they don't make shoes that big.
I've seen it. It looks like a mini boat. I've seen a size 22 shoe in person.
That's insane.
Like, that's just not human.
You know what they say about big shoes?
Stop.
Big socks.
Oh, zing.
But no, the Suns play very complimentary basketball. CP3 is the unsung. Well, actually, not necessarily anymore. During the regular season, the unsung hero of that team.
I feel like he made during the regular season what they're doing now in the playoffs. He's slowing down because, like, of course he should be. They're playing too many games at a high level too quickly. Yeah. But he got them to where they are in this point, and he got them to the confidence level that they have right now.
Right. He is a huge part of it. Dude,
pour that drink.
Yeah, I gotta fill up a little bit. The Suns, like I said, they're just playing really well. The Clippers, you said Kawhi's out, right?
Yeah, Kawhi's out. I don't
Paul
think
George
he's gonna be
stepped
returning.
up.
Yeah.
But dude, I just like Kawhi Leonard. Paul George is another guy I've liked because he was, like you said, he was the guy after LeBron for so long. He was the star that was in LeBron's shadow during their primes. Which, we're out of ice.
Yeah, we are definitely out of ice.
I thought that full bowl was enough. Apparently not.
Melts quick in the garage.
So I also want to see him win one because I feel like he's also deserving. But I got to go for the Suns just because like it's Phoenix, dude. When's the last time Phoenix had the state of Arizona has had anything?
Steve Nash,
Randy Johnson.
That's about it.
Right, like outside, all sports. When's the last time Phoenix or the state of Arizona? Kurt Warner in the Super Bowl?
That's why they have spring training there because it's like, hey, baseball is here.
Yeah.
Right. It would be cool to see the Suns win it. Devin Booker, a star in my opinion, an absolute
new LeBron James.
The next Kobe Bryant.
Oh, Kobe Bryant. Yeah. Oh, my bad. I thought it was.
This is the more fun series to me. The one that I'm definitely more interested in having more fun.
Yeah, I feel like
you could say that, but I'm going to go with the Bucks.
Of course you are, because you think they're going to win.
But they're only up 2-1 versus the Hawks, and I feel like it all just comes down to Chris Middleton. He's a beast.
I will give him credit because I watched the game where they just destroyed Atlanta. Like it was like
125.
It was like at halftime.
It was like 30 points at halftime, and that's one of the things about like I hate seeing that in sports.
No, I agree. Like
even if I'm like a diehard Bucks fan, like I don't like. What's the point? Up 30 at halftime. Sure. That's not fair to say because the Hawks did have like a 26-point comeback against the 76ers. So I guess if there's a team to not sleep on in that situation, it's them.
Yeah,
But this is it was a different class, man. Middleton and Giannis just don't even. I mean,
well, that's my whole thing is like,
I mean, that's our whole team pretty much.
you look at Middleton, Giannis.
What? Tony Snell? Like
the impeccable 0-0-0 20 minutes played.
Yeah.
Man just ran.
Yeah.
My whole thing is
favorite stat line.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well,
20 minutes
it's so
played,
funny
zeros.
watching it, and you're like, you see all the zeros, and you're like expecting to be like 2 minutes played or whatever. Like this is his first game he's ever played. It's like no, 20 minutes.
Got a mint leaf.
Boy was out there for 20 minutes, didn't get fouled, didn't have
Didn't
one
do anything.
tip to rebound go to him.
He did nothing
It's
for
just
that.
not-
It was 28 minutes.
The man just got a cardio workout.
Yeah, exactly.
And was paid millions for it.
Hey, I could do that out there.
Right. Seriously.
I mean,
I'll take league minimum to do that. I'll do it. I don't care.
Yeah, dude.
Will I look good? No. But hey, maybe I'll sell a jersey.
Maybe I might throw up on the sideline a little bit,
I
but
don't think I throw up. I got a strong stomach.
but
I
My
haven't
cardio ain't what
I
it used
haven't eaten in 5 days, so I don't throw up.
Right,
on
I'll
the court.
just starve myself so that doesn't happen.
My whole thing is looking at it. Out of all the teams that are left, Trae Young, bone bruise on his ankle. He literally stepped on the ref's foot in the last game and like tweaked his ankle.
Oh.
Him going out, it's almost like Jamal Murray not being there for the Nuggets. It turns a playoff team into
That's the
a.
nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
Do you really deserve? Like they deserve to be there because he was on the team, but it's
They
just
were
like
there. The team underdogs and overcame
Yeah.
a lot to be there. And no like disrespect to the Hawks or anything.
and I mean, for years to come, though, I will give them credit.
Yeah,
Like,
the Hawks.
they are in a great position.
This is how I'm kind of viewing them. It's like they're a team on the rise that in some eyes may have overachieved a little bit, but I think they kind of showed this is what our team can be.
Yeah.
Imagine what it is if we get a piece or two to complement Trae Young.
Yeah.
So
or like if he gets hurt, it's like we're still not just gonna. I don't want to say that it's gonna be a quick 2 more wins for the Bucks to close out the series.
But if Trae Young ain't in,
if Trae Young's out,
I look at
might
it as
be.
like if
Yeah.
Giannis gets an ankle bruise, I feel like he still can participate offensively, defensively. With Trae Young shooting so much and being so quick, and like that's his.
he's the
yeah, that's
the offense is through him.
He's not going to be as productive as a shooter, which is what they need him to be. If Giannis goes 2 for 15 from the field, they're probably still going to win because he's still just a freak of nature athlete.
yeah.
But Trae Young,
Trae Young needs to be healthy.
yeah,
And
And he's still a young. How old is he, man? Like 20, 21?
21, I think.
Yeah.
21, super young. Him and Luka came out of the draft together. That
Yeah,
was,
they got traded for each
you
other.
weren't here. We talked about that was a very even trade.
they're
I
very
gave you a
even.
shout out for that. don't know
Okay,
if you
I was going
remember.
to say because that's what I've always thought.
Yeah,
is
that was
one.
a very fair trade. But I mean, Trae Young is a young star who I know you're going to get into a little bit in your hot take, but
yeah.
he's on the cusp of being like the guy.
Yeah, he is.
This is going to sound like a stretch, but think of like Steph Curry to the Warriors, right? Not a huge, and he's not a forward, he's not a big guy,
No,
but he was so like integral to the success of that team. Trae Young is on a similar path for the Hawks.
yeah. Which that one of my
Yeah.
points is: are the Hawks team this year? Say Trae Young stays healthy, are they still too young as a team to win? I mean, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about with the Sox, with just being
Right,
like,
it's-
young and
it's similar.
experienced, where it's just like
Oh, Eddie said Trae Young is out tonight too.
okay, so
So,
like that's
yeah.
So it might be
Yeah.
3-1 at the end of the night.
So my whole thing is, are they too young to the point where they can't overcome a guy injured? Like I look at the same thing at Heat last year. Jimmy Butler was old enough to keep those young guys through it and help
Mhm.
them get all the way to the finals. I don't see anyone on the Hawks team
The Hawks have some learning to do.
where it's like Trae
Yes.
Young goes out, no one's stepping up because it's not like I want to say the rest of the team after Trae Young sucks, but it's like him going out, there's no one that can step up and take
He's the
over.
spark plug.
Yeah.
He's the
Yeah.
spark plug for the team. They
Like-
might be
like the-
too young. I think they're a piece, or realistically, they are one established piece away from being able to compete without Trae Young. 2 pieces away from being able to fully overcome him being out.
Okay.
Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah,
That's
I
where I
agree
view
with
them. They're a team on the rise that needs to add a piece or two to really like be a legitimate long-term threat in the NBA.
Yeah, because it's
And
like
they're this offseason, I'm calling it, they're going to be active.
yeah, they definitely
I would
will.
like to see that.
But it's like Zach LaVine with the Bulls. Like you take Zach LaVine out of the question, the Bulls like they're not going to win.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
why I think now that they have Vukovic, they're still there. Like they're still competitive, even if Levine has a bad game. But if
Yeah.
Levine gets hurt for a playoff series, they're still going to get rolled.
Yeah.
They need Vukovic and a solid point guard piece. And now if Zach Levine gets hurt, they could rise above him getting hurt and winning.
That's where I think the Hawks are at. And I'm pretty sure that organization knows it as well.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying this offseason, they're going to be pretty active, either trying to be aggressive in the draft if they can be, or in free agency to bring in someone. I don't know much about their starting five, but pretty much
A lot of shooters, not a lot of,
so they need a big man.
defense. Big man.
Let them go after a big man or two. And then have someone who can take pressure off of Trae Young, who can do it in the paint.
Yeah.
Trae Young's he's a perimeter guy. You need someone big inside who you can dish the ball to him and let him do his magic in the paint.
Yeah.
So then that way it opens up the perimeter game again.
I'm glad you brought up draft because, in my opinion, I don't know how people feel about this. I feel like this is maybe one of the weakest draft classes since I've been really a big basketball fan.
It really is because we had Zion, right? That was all we heard about, honestly, for 2 years.
Yeah,
with
ever
him.
since he was like a junior.
I feel like
in
every
high
year
school.
there's been like a guy that they hype up. This year,
Or LeVar Ball is just, a thing you're talking about.
yeah,
It's
or
like,
LeVar Ball. That now that you look back on it, that wasn't the strongest class either.
Lonzo and
Yeah.
those guys. Yeah, because it was a strong class. They just didn't turn out to be great.
Okay, fair
But
enough.
then
I get
like
what you
this
mean.
class where it's like there's not a lot of big I feel
No,
like
they-
Jalen Suggs is probably going to be the name that most casual, not really into
Recognize.
basketball fans notice.
Yeah, and then Cade Cunningham,
I don't
Evan Mobley.
Honestly, I don't
Those-
even think
those are really
Cade Cunningham is, in my opinion, the best prospect in this draft. But I don't even think he's that well known to the casual basketball fan because, one, he played at Oklahoma State,
Yeah.
which isn't a big school that it
Yeah.
doesn't get the attention.
It's not a Duke. It's not a North
Duke,
Carolina.
it's not North Carolina. It's not
It's not
Gonzaga.
the championship winning team. Like,
Right. So it's just a team where you're just kind of like, you honestly, to some degree, you don't even think, you kind of forget about
Yeah,
Oklahoma State. But every year there's a guy who's like super hyped up as like this is going to be the future of the NBA. Maybe every 3 years you get a draft like this where there really isn't something like that just like lights up, right?
yeah.
Cade Cunningham, like I said,
He is a clear top prospect,
Yeah.
but it's not like
it's not like he's light years.
he's not
ahead
like
of
a
everyone.
Zion Williams.
Right, he's not like he's not viewed in that same
Yeah,
light.
no, he's not.
He had a
He's-
good year in college, especially considering like the school he went to, the players around him and everything. Oklahoma State doesn't bring in a ton of like top basketball talent. They're kind of a little brother to Oklahoma
yeah.
as like just overall athletics in general. So he had a good year, especially with what was around him. He's productive. He's got the size and everything, and he's got like the good basketball acumen. He knows what to do.
Yeah,
But like people don't view him like a Zion.
No,
No.
yeah, I'm looking at it too. I went back to the Lonzo Ball draft. So the only there was like Jason Tatum was in that draft for Celtics,
Yep.
and then Donovan Mitchell and Bam Adebayo. So it's like there are guys who now are names, but back then when the Denver Nuggets drafted Donovan Mitchell, people weren't like, "Oh my gosh,
they were
this is
developmental
gonna
types.
be yeah."
Developmental types.
I feel like-
that's what I feel like this draft class is.
I feel like,
Definitely.
it's going to be those guys where it's like when whoever gets picked like 13th or 14th, it's going to be like I can't believe they didn't get taken. Like Donovan Mitchell probably should have been the number one pick that year, but if you would have,
right.
if you would have
Like
picked
you're
number
saying
one,
in
it's
hindsight.
like yeah,
The hindsight's going to come out and be like, oh, how didn't we take? It's going to be like when teams passed on Mike Trout.
yeah.
Mike Trout wasn't viewed all that highly. Now he's the best player in baseball. That's what this draft could shape out to be.
Yeah, it's
because of like how even of a playing field it is.
Yeah, 'cause
I
a
think
lot
all
of
these
them-
guys have a fair chance.
Yeah, a lot of them are pretty much all of them are going to be developmental. Like you're not going to go ahead and be like, this is our guy. Like he's our starter. Like we're going to
Right. Is there an immediate impact guy in this draft? Not necessarily.
Yeah.
It's a guy who's going to get limited minutes to start until he plays and
Yeah.
like gets his feet under him, and then you're like, okay, let's throw you in there some more.
Yeah, because I mean, like, I don't know. I guess Trae Young and Zion Williamson was just like an insane class. Yeah, just
Well,
those two guys
Trae
alone.
Young came before Zion.
Yeah, it was the year before.
Yeah, the year
Him
before.
and Luka
But,
were the class.
yeah, Luka. Those two classes have just been loaded. So I think that's.
I
what
feel like
we're
we got
seeing.
spoiled in the past couple of
Yeah,
years where it's like
yeah.
why I think this is so weak. But if you do look back to 2017, I feel like me being a basketball fan, like sitting in this position now going into that draft, I'm like, there's no one in like Lonzo Ball isn't even really that great, but he gets the most coverage
because his dad was loud.
And then now it's like, for me, I'm looking at a guy like Davian Mitchell, and I'm not even saying he has a great, like, high, game-changing potential. But to me, he's the most pro-ready. He plays good defense. He plays good offense. And I feel like most of the guys out of this draft are going to be those guys who they're going to get the garbage time. They're not going to instantly be the sixth man.
Yeah, no, they're going to
Yeah.
developmental, like we said.
So I feel like he's going to have the least amount of time before he turns into that starter or that sixth man, right?
Gotcha. So you think he will develop the fastest?
Yeah.
Bobby, I know you've been high on USC.
Evan Mobley.
Evan Mobley.
Yes. Dude, he's got the size. He's got the quickness. He's 7 foot.
They were the brothers, right? They were fun to watch.
They were they honestly, those were the only two that were scoring. Like,
yeah, I know Evan Mobley is viewed pretty highly.
Yeah,
I think. What did they have him at, number 2?
Yeah, I think
the number 2 ranked
he's
guy.
definitely the best big man. Like
Cade Cunningham are in the same class.
But I'm saying like center, like big man,
like the biggest man.
The biggest man. Like you're going after center, he's your best guy. And like,
fair enough.
I think he is a developmental project. I still think you're going to have
most likely. He played a few years.
Time,
he wasn't a one and done, right?
No,
Yeah.
it wasn't a one and done, right?
No, he wasn't. I think
I
he
really
played
like
2
those
years,
guys, and I really like those when those guys are centers. I feel like a lot of the times centers and power forward, like just big post guys, when they come straight one and done,
You need some years playing there.
I feel like they either don't have good post moves where it's like he's a liability to throw to on offense, or they get hurt super early, where it's just like they need those small. I would rather have a guy like Evan Mobley, who's been in development in college and then steps on the NBA court. And he's like, I'm ready to go. Just teach me the plays and I'll try to score. Whereas you got guys like Greg Oden who got hurt really early. It's like if he would have had 2 years in college to strengthen his legs, he probably doesn't get hurt going into that full NBA schedule.
When you're a post player, you're a center, power forward. I definitely think you need a little bit more time because that is an art in itself. Right?
Yeah, it is.
Shooters can shoot, but your ability to be that big and be that quick and nimble on your feet in the paint, that's something that takes time.
Because like as a center, like you have to be good, like getting rebounds. You have to be good.
There's so many
aspects
of the game that you have to figure out.
They're very underappreciated.
I would be more comfortable taking a center like Evan Mobley, who's played D1 at USC for a couple of years, than a guy who hasn't had the experience. Might still has some question marks about him. Sure, he's younger and is flashier, but is he as fundamentally sound in the paint? That's where I think Evan Mobley's value comes from, is his experience over some of the other guys. Jalen Suggs is another dude. Is he one and done? I don't remember. I think he's another year too. Year two. So
he's so.
This is the year of guys who have played a year or two in college.
I want to say most of the guys who are in the top 10 played in college for that COVID season. That didn't have an NCAA tournament. I want to say most of these guys. There's a couple that are from like the G League, or not G League, but like the semi-pro leagues, or from overseas stuff that are they're 19. Yeah, but I want to say most of them. I know Cade Cunningham is your top prospect. What do you guys think about him? He's only working out for the Pistons. That he said he is not working out for anyone else. That's who has the number 1 overall pick.
So he really thinks he's going number 1.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe for all we know, the Pistons have said they're taking him.
Yeah, my whole thing
we're
is
not in the room. We're not on the phone with them.
So
does that say anything about his confidence? Where he thinks if I work out 3 times, because I feel like they all get tapes of him working out, but it's only in the Pistons facility. If he works out 3 times, he has 3 chances to be bad. Whereas if he works out once and has a really good workout,
that's an interesting thing.
It's more of a Joe Burrow situation. Where he didn't even go to the combine because he already knew he was going number 1.
I think it's more. He knows he's going number 1.
And
so it's like, why?
So
why
he's going to do his one workout. He's going to let everyone have tape on him and see how he did in his workout. And then he's going to relax. And maybe, for all we know, the dude has some ailments and stuff he wants to just rest on. Yeah. There are plenty of dudes who sit out the combine for the NFL who they had a knee problem, right?
Yeah.
They didn't talk about in college, shoulder injury here or there, whatever. So they don't want to risk aggravating it doing some drills that I personally don't think. I think there are certain combine drills that are just a waste of time.
Yeah.
Like, for example, you don't know. Maybe this is a bad idea. The 3-cone drill. I don't really need to see a quarterback in the NFL do the 3-cone drill.
No,
Sure, it's cool to see how agile the guy
I don't
is.
really.
But I don't care.
I don't really need to see a quarterback do.
I don't
Yeah.
need to see him do the bench. I don't need to see him do the standing, the jump, whatever, vertical.
For me,
Like,
it's
not important stuff to me. And
quarterback.
every combine has senseless drills for certain positions.
Quarterback probably needs to do the least. I feel like there's some like linemen where it's like, let me show you how strong I am, or a cornerback, let me show you how fast I am, because they don't always get to show that off.
Yeah.
But as a quarterback,
Show
or
off your arm,
I
throw
feel
and
like
be done.
if you're a starter in college, you should have enough tape where you be like, hey, that's how I play. Like
Quarterback, do the throws. And
Yeah,
do the
exactly.
40. That's really all I need to
Yeah.
see. That's just my opinion on it, though. So maybe he's just like, you know what? I'm going to go number one overall. I know I'm going number one. I'm going. Why would I bother doing one overall? Why would I bother doing the same drills multiple times over and over again?
Because if you're an elite athlete,
chances are all of the drills you do are going to be pretty similar in the results.
Yeah.
So,
But
the dude's going to go. He's probably going to go number one overall. He's comfortable in himself. To me, it says it's confidence.
you say, so it's not lack of confidence.
I think it's more of like I'm good enough. I know I'm good enough. I'm not going to waste my time doing this over and over again. It's a little bit of a cockiness to him. But I also don't. He's also a quieter guy, like through his college, like his time in college, right? He went to
Oklahoma State.
Bad news though. I don't think Johnny's using is going to be going to the draft.
You don't think so?
Now he dropped 50. I guess he had a bad scrimmage games.
That's your man.
Yeah,
your bracket hero.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, it all depends on like what he ends up choosing to do, and also there's been actually been undrafted in the NBA who turn out to be solid studs. Like,
Still, if he does go to the draft, I hope
Every
the
draft
Bulls get a
has
steal, man.
every draft in every sport has the steal.
Yeah.
There's the steal of every draft. When you
But
really think about
just
it.
because he had a bad game, you drop him to 50.
hey, that's okay though, because
Yeah.
the Bulls took Jimmy Butler way deep in the second round. They don't have a first round
And
pick.
they
They
don't,
gave it up, but
they have a second.
they do have a second
They
round.
do have a second round,
Which is
Yeah,
Bobby
Kobe White doesn't
Portis.
seem to be the fit for that offense.
Exactly.
I like Kobe White, but it doesn't seem to be the fit.
No.
We've talked about that. I know.
We've dived into
hopefully.
that. We can go into that during the offseason
Oh, yeah.
too, when there's more news. Not a lot of stuff surrounding the Bulls
But
right now.
Lonzo Ball is going to be a free agent.
I think
so-
that's who.
I feel
that's
like
who our churros
there's
going to go after.
there's a lot of teams who not some. I feel like Lonzo Ball isn't a great scorer, but like
He just plays. He's a
plays-
team
Yeah,
player.
he's a facilitator.
Which is hilarious because I always thought with Lonzo Ball, and we'll kind of end with this and move on, but I always thought with Lonzo Ball, the biggest thing holding him back wasn't his game, but it was his dad. I thought his dad was too loud for him at the time.
I feel like his dad changed. His dad
His dad has been very quiet.
is perfect for how LaMelo plays. Lonzo Ball, not a flashy player. His dad tried to turn him into that.
Right.
If that's what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
I feel like
That was ultimately, I think that's what like caused everything to not work out. And in
LA.
In LA. Wow, I blinked. That was the thing that didn't work for them. Is his dad was talking big market team, the Lakers. Everyone knows who the Lakers are.
Yeah.
And his dad was talking about him like he was this flashy player who's going to lead the league in scoring and just make these highlight plays. He's a very technically sound point guard, and he moves the ball very well, which is why the Bulls are just a team that are linked to him, are always being brought up in conversations with him.
Yeah.
Because he will play complementary basketball.
Yeah.
Whereas his dad talked about him like he was the focal point of his team. You don't need to be the focal point of your team to be a good basketball player. CP3, prime example.
Yep.
Dude works wherever he goes.
Yeah.
But he's not. Is he the guy on every team? No. But he is arguably the MVP of every team he ends up on.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the trajectory that Lonzo Ball
Yeah,
find
I
himself
see
on.
it. Mini Gordon Ramsay.
Mini Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
A Bobby Flay, if you will.
Yeah, Bobby Flay. What was that? Cook-off? It was like Jake's something cook-off.
Eddie's
yeah,
$1 million.
Eddie's $1 million cook-off. There you go.
Great-
I remember
great
now.
movie.
The Disney show. Wow.
Yeah.
A movie. Throwing that out there. Nick, your hot takes, you kind of, when you look at it, it kind of covered all of it.
I'm gonna say we covered
Just rapid fire.
we covered the Hawks and Suns, so I'm not going to talk about. We talked about those runs already.
Yeah.
I feel like my two hot takes are for the Clippers and Bucks. I had one for every playoff team,
Mhm.
but for the Clippers, I would say that Kawhi Leonard would be the most important player on whatever team he played for. If you put him on the Nets, even with the big three, Kawhi Leonard's still the most important
That's how
player.
I've always viewed Kawhi.
Yeah,
Kawhi Leonard, even if he plays with
Super team
LeBron,
killer.
Yeah, dude, he's
most important player on
great
the team.
defensively.
I feel like you could put him on it. I would say you put him on the Nets right now and don't, like, for some reason, you somehow don't have to trade Kyrie, James Harden, or Durant.
Yeah.
I feel like if they make it to the playoffs, he gets hurt, they still are behind from where they need to be. I feel like whatever team he comes into, it's like, we're going to play Kawhi Leonard basketball. Like, this is what we're doing.
I'll put the hat on for the end of the show.
And
I know people have been missing it.
and we
They're
were just
missing the
like,
hat. I'm sick of playing with my hair.
and I feel like we're just witnessing arguably one of the most important players in NBA. Like, he's so quiet. He's not loud. He doesn't go on social media.
Dude,
and
he
stuff
uses
like that.
his Wingstop coupon still. Did you know that about him?
I did not know that
uses
about him.
coupons at Wingstop. Not that there's anything wrong with using coupons.
I just like
But it's just kind of like the
Man,
dude's
make millions.
he's a multi-millionaire. And he
Hey.
goes, yeah, I'm going to use my 10 free wings.
use coupons, stay a millionaire forever. Don't use coupons.
Yeah,
you don't know what
exactly, man.
Yeah.
That's where we're messing up.
Kawhi on the court, off the court, everything about the dude. I'm just like,
No, I'll give it to him.
I'm a fan. He's quiet. He minds his business. Not that he needs to, but I just like respect a guy who can play in the NBA of all sports and like manage to stay out of the spotlight so well.
Yeah, I'll give it to him.
Okay, so that's kind of how I have for the Clippers. My biggest thing for the Bucks, and I feel like this may or may not be taken out of context, but I'm talking about in this playoff series. I'm talking about in like the finals of the conference and then the NBA finals. Chris Middleton's game and how he plays is more crucial than Giannis. I'm not going to say Chris Middleton is better than Giannis. Giannis is the best player on that team. But if Chris Middleton has a bad game, they have a better chance of losing that series, that game, rather than if Giannis has a bad game.
And especially the semifinals, he's stepped up a lot.
Yeah.
Like you could definitely see it.
Because you're saying if the goal of a team is to go in and neutralize Giannis, Chris Middleton has to be able to step up through that. And if he's not able to, and you can neutralize Giannis, that team, like you said earlier, that's the team. Those two guys.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying. I think that's a fair analysis.
If you can neutralize Chris Middleton to where he's not productive throughout the entire game, and you're relying solely on Giannis, I feel like at that point, if Trae Young's healthy and he goes down and makes a three to Giannis's 2 point, because Giannis really doesn't shoot threes.
He's a two. Yeah,
Chris Middleton scores at all three levels. He scores inside, mid range, and then from deep.
Giannis is more of a mid range guy.
Giannis mid range to in and free throws. So like
the wall,
all of a sudden,
if you're 20-minute free throw routine,
if you're getting into 120 points scored by a team, I feel like Giannis having a great game and Middleton having a terrible game is most likely going to result in a loss. Whereas if Giannis has a terrible game and Chris Middleton goes off for 60, you have a better chance of winning the game.
But I'm not going to. I don't necessarily disagree.
No, I see your point because it definitely showed.
I feel like Giannis is definitely the best player in that. I'm not going to sit here and be like Giannis is the second best, but like
no, I get what you're saying. I mean, I've been talking
the game
about,
they did lose. Chris Middleton had a bad game.
Yeah, I've been saying how many times have I said complimentary basketball in this episode? Exactly. That's a prime example right there.
All right, yeah. Before I go to my question of the week, quick update: 43-34. The Hawks are winning right now, with 4 minutes left in the
with Trae Young out. Ooh, now
are we going to eat our words?
But I feel like sometimes
real time.
First half of basketball very hot for a team that needs to be hot.
Second half,
and then second half.
Every sport is about second half adjustments, so we'll see.
I'm going to see how much points Chris Middleton has and see if my he probably has like 30 out of 34. Maybe I was wrong.
Like, ooh.
Chris Middleton has 8 points.
Oh, yeah, maybe your theory's holding up.
He has the most points on the team.
That's bad. Everyone's having a bad game then.
Yikes. Well, with that, we'll move into your question of the week.
Question of the week, kind of a hard question to really put a number on. I'm going to limit this to once an answer's been chosen, you cannot. So if Bobby picks an answer, you can't have the same answer.
Okay, all right, fair.
Are we doing like Family Feud style? Hit the buzzer?
Sure.
I'm not going to smack the table.
No, we're not smacking the table.
Answer. The mics are going to rattle.
Answer first, and that's who gets the answer. You're in a situation where you're playing.
It's too hot for the hat.
It's pretty much an Olympic style event. So you got like running, track and field, throwing things, stuff like that. Which city of athletes wins in Olympic Games, but instead of countries, it's cities? So you only have players on the Bulls, Hawks,
this is a tough
Sox, Cubs.
Is it one sport or all the sports in that city?
It's It's pretty much it's all the sports in the city. So you get
Oh my gosh, I don't even know.
you get
Yeah,
Zach
dude,
Levine and you get Jose Abreu and you get Chris Bryant.
Is it summer or winter Olympics?
It's both. It's half and half.
Okay, so hockey is included.
We're taking out like the gymnastics and like the super technical. We're not doing any like hurdle races.
Yeah,
And we're not doing any slalom
Eddie,
skiing.
you're only saying Tampa because Tom Brady's there. Eddie said Tampa. Like,
Tampa.
right away,
Like
which I don't see it personally.
what other teams? I mean, like
Lightning.
the Rays.
The
Lightning.
Randy
I don't-
Arozarena.
They don't
I don't
have
know
a
about-
basketball team, right? Oh yeah, they don't.
They don't.
Eddie would like to double down with his Tampa answer.
All right, man. He's doubling down. All right,
Okay, you're gonna double down with
Eddie.
Tampa?
There you go, Tampa.
Oh man, I feel like the easy answer is to say LA.
Yeah, I mean,
You just have like the widest range of talent to choose from in
Yeah,
LA.
you do. You got two
Um,
baseball teams, two basketball teams.
You know what? Oh shucks, man, that's tough. I am going to go with. I don't have to like pick all the guys, right? I can just
no,
say
you're just
city.
gonna say a city, and you'll just
Um,
I literally thought about this while the podcast was going. I had a couple in my mind. I didn't
gotcha.
like any of them.
You know what? LA seems too easy to me, and I don't want to be the guy who picks the easy answer, especially after the Cade Cunningham selection.
You did pick the easy answer.
So
there.
I'm gonna go with. That's a tough one, man.
All right.
You know what? I'm gonna say Chicago.
All right, he's gonna take Chicago. I'm gonna go to New York. Double
Dude,
down.
I was between those three.
I thought you were gonna say LA. You're like, he's going with Chicago. I'm going with LA.
I'm going.
Nah.
I'm gonna go with New York. You got some you got some guys on the Blackhawks that cover your Winter Olympic Games.
Yeah.
Marquis Goodwin he went for the Olympic trials.
That's true, but he did not make it.
Oh no, he's not going to, but
Yeah.
he still went for it. And the fact that you're there says something.
Yeah.
So I think he was a national champion for long jump too.
Yeah, but
So he's got track and field experience in the jumping and whatnot.
jumping and whatnot.
in the
I'm
Yeah,
just
Justin
dude,
Fields run the 4.44, just in case you're wondering.
Justin Fields is fast. Yes, Eddie, I understand the Lightning, but the Rays aren't like. What sports are the Rays going to win? Randy
Yeah.
Arozarena
You
certainly isn't the fastest guy in baseball.
You think
Neither is
Tyler
Kevin
Glasnow
Kiermaier.
is gonna be
They
able
got
to?
Brandon Lau and Brandon Lowe.
Those guys are slow.
Yeah, but I
Maybe
mean,
they
like
can throw a good shot.
in the
put,
skeet shooting, like they got that dialed down.
I guess.
I'm gonna say my answer. I'm gonna slightly cheat. I'm gonna go Dallas, Houston area because
You can't just pick Texas.
Yeah, you can't just pick
Well,
Texas. You could have said states,
okay,
man.
can I
would've
get,
said,
can
I'll
I
pick
get
Texas.
Dallas with the Texas Rangers because Dallas doesn't have a baseball team. So I was trying
Fine,
to get a
we'll give
baseball
you the
team.
We'll give you the Rangers.
Texas
Dude,
Rangers.
then you know
with
what? I
Dallas.
picked the whole state of California.
Stop.
So you get the Kings and the A's.
Yeah, I
and
got everyone, man.
I get every baseball team, every football team, every hockey team.
It's over.
Man, if they ever, California ever does break off and like floats out in there.
Eddie, you're over. No. This isn't like they're gonna face each other in their game. They're doing the Olympic events. You doof.
Yeah, like
Did you not listen to the question?
What sport
It's
Chicago
not
gonna win?
that Chicago's football team will face these football teams or baseball teams. It's Chicago's athletes will compete in the Olympics. Man doesn't listen. Get out of our. Leave. I don't want to see you in the comments.
no, don't leave, Eddie. Yeah.
We need the viewers. Don't actually. No, I think Marquis Goodwin can probably take the gold.
That's where I feel like
For
you're
some
getting
of those
you're
events.
getting to the
Yeah,
point where like
I'll give him that credit.
you're getting a couple
I'm not a fan
guys
of him, man.
like man,
What do you have
maybe
against Marquis Goodwin?
The fantasy gurus are over here. Draft Marquis Goodwin. He's gonna have a great year. Stinks every single year, and they always
oh
say
my
that.
gosh, Bobby's just like
Okay,
if,
but we're not
if a guy
talking-
doesn't
this
let me
isn't
win
football. This
fantasy.
is track and field.
I know, but I just still hate him, man.
See, because that's my thing.
Drafted
You
him,
get to the
screwed me
thing
over.
of you need some of those technical athletes, for the javelin throw and the skeet shooting and the ski jump of
I
whatnot.
think there's some Canadians on the Blackhawks that I'm sure would be good at skeet shooting.
What's up?
Cross country skiing is definitely the event that's really gonna shake up the world.
Yeah, man, that's
I
gonna
don't
be
know
tough.
who's winning in cross country skiing,
We're looking.
but I feel pretty good going with Chicago. You got
Hey,
your
what
Winter
about-
Olympics covered by some hockey players.
What about the synchronized high dive? Who are you putting out there for Chicago? What are your two athletes?
Tariq Cohen's he's got one hell of a backflip.
Okay, but Tariq Cohen and then who else is because you got to flip at the same
Dude, I'm
time.
gonna just keep going. Marquis Goodwin. The man's a good athlete.
So
he's got
your synchronized high dive is Marquis.
Yeah,
Marquis Goodwin is half of this.
He's a
Olympic
great
team.
athlete, but
Who
he
are
can't
your-
catch the ball.
Who are your,
He doesn't have to catch the ball. He needs to win in long jump, high jump, and
What
synchronized.
about you,
diving,
Robert?
apparently.
Who are your synchronized
Synchronized.
high divers?
I'm going
from-
D Rose and
You picked New York.
yeah,
You picked New York. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You pick the city you're talking about.
I picked New York. Yeah.
God, he's in New York. Man.
And you know what?
D Rose.
D Rose and some Danny Dimes. We'll throw them out there.
Oh,
When's
I
the
like
last
that. Time you saw either of them do a backflip.
Did you see Danny Dimes run? He's
I
athletic.
watched him trip.
I'm going.
Yeah.
My
He's like a 70-yard run, man.
my synchronized high dive.
dive.
You have to just go with non-complimentary players that for somehow are going to compliment. Justin Verlander, Amari Cooper, easy winners.
Justin Verlander's got Tommy John surgery to recover from.
Yeah, but you don't really need your elbow.
Yeah,
to high
dude, you
dive.
just like tuck it in, do a backflip.
I don't know.
man.
I think Chicago can match up well in that Olympic Games. We should bring this to like the MLB, NBA,
What I
NHL.
really want to do, and I hope that they
They're
would
just
end up
gonna
doing
literally
this.
use Marquis Goodwin in every single.
He can do it.
Event.
Listen, you
He can
may
do it
not like
all.
the guy as a wide receiver, but he can long jump, high jump, sprint, and I'm sure he can synchronize dive with Tariq Cohen.
Yeah, he can do that. But mark my words, he's not gonna be a starting wide receiver on
This
that
isn't
team.
about wide receivers. This is about Olympic athletes.
Football is not in the Olympics.
Leave that out of here. We're not talking about football. We're talking Olympics.
I've seen this on.
You need to catch a football in the Olympics? No. I bet Marquis Goodwin can throw one hell of a javelin while we're at
You
it.
know what? Destroying is
And
better
you know what?
than
My
him.
javelin toss? That Justin Fields. Fast, he can throw pretty well. Just saying.
I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously any like shot put.
Dude, I got.
Yeah, and
I got-
Marquis Goodwin.
well,
got
you could use like
javelin.
linemen.
I got
for
javelin
shot
locked
put.
down.
Yeah,
all right, I got Joey Gallo just
he's got an
lining
arm.
up that long arm.
I don't know. I think I'd have to go with a baseball player for the hammer toss, though. It's a lot of
For
hitting.
hammer toss.
A lot
But
of-
you got also a big guy, like like a.
You could find a power hitter to do that, man.
Yeah. Aaron.
Jose
I have
Abreu.
Aaron Judge.
I bet
Oh,
Jose Abreu can throw.
No, but like what I would
You
love
throw
to
one hell
see
of a
happen in
javelin
real
with a
sports and then also the Olympics, and I've seen it on Twitter and Facebook before, but it's like having Olympics like after the Olympics where you're not allowed to compete in your actual sport, where you're like the coach. Or like Michael Phelps is like teaching Usain Bolt how to freestyle swim against like other track and field athletes, where it's like none of these, or ping pong. Like imagine just Usain Bolt versus
Ping pong.
Michael Phelps in ping pong. You're just getting out there. It's just like, oh, what's happening?
Well,
Or like, or here we do like
Dude, I got
dumbed down
it.
versions of American sports, where like the Bears play the Bulls in wiffle ball, and then the Cubs and Sox
wiffle ball. It's come up for another episode.
flag,
We
Yeah,
need to
dude.
get a-
flag
we need
football.
to make a wiffle ball league happen.
Yeah,
But I'm like,
It's fun, dude.
it is fun.
You'd have
I will
fun.
say.
I
Like,
like,
I would-
by the way, are you going to sub for softball?
when?
okay, we're not talking about this now. You guys are
Yeah,
talking about
yeah,
it for-
we can
I just
talk
wanted
about
it on record for Eddie. Sorry.
When?
This week.
What?
Whatever. We'll get into that after the show. I think Chicago can pull out a pretty good Olympic Games with that.
well,
yeah,
I think they beat New
I
York.
think New York has it.
next
man.
time there's like a big lull in sports, we'll
We'll-
call up
we'll
all
really-
we'll call up all
we'll-
the teams, and we'll,
We'll
be like,
really break it down then. Cross country skiing. I'm just saying.
Marquis Goodwin. Marquis Goodwin.
Marquis Goodwin's gonna stick with all my summer
hey,
Olympic
Lucas
games,
Giolito
dude.
is cross country skiing potential.
Nah, dude's from California or Vegas or whatever.
They have mountains there with snow.
I don't think.
I feel like
I don't know if cross country skis, man.
Colorado is like right there, man. Like he can
No,
just
it's
go
not.
right for it.
I don't know. I don't know if he can cross country skis.
He goes
That's
to
all.
Aspen every weekend, man.
Breckenridge.
Big Bears and then California.
I don't know. I don't know. Dude, what are we talking about?
I don't know. Man, my questions of the week are going to get wilder and
I
wilder.
like it that way, though.
Yeah, that was a good question of the week.
I like
man.
that question of the week, but
We really showed how much Andrew loves Marquis Goodwin. Jeez.
I feel like
Listen, I like
first
the
round
guy-
draft pick or fantasy is going to be Marquis Goodwin.
no, it's not. Once again, I'm not saying he's a good player. I'm not talking about his
But he can do it all.
He can
He
do it all
in the Olympic Games.
besides catch a football.
I don't need him to catch a football in this scenario. We keep talking about that. Like that's an Olympic
They add that
football catch.
to the 2021
Oh,
Olympics. Look football. No.
Allen Robinson.
There you go, man.
I'm still not screwed on that one.
That's
So
true. He can catch a
quit
football.
throwing dirt. Quit dragging Marquis Goodwin's name through the mud,
I
Bob.
will, man. I had Goodwin hunting as my name.
Goodwin
We're not-
Hunting, did you? That's pretty good,
Yeah,
though.
it was.
We're wrapping this up. we're wrapping this up.
So,
before Bobby.
and then I had to drop him.
Okay,
So the
so-
team name didn't even make sense. So change the name. I like that name.
You're so
Oh,
dumb.
so dumb.
Whatever. Thank you. That'll wrap it up for this episode of Garage Talk Sports, guys. Thank you for tuning in this week. If you like what you heard, if we were able to entertain you at any point, please like us on Facebook, follow us on
Just watch the last 10
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah.
It's really entertaining.
follow us on Twitter at GTS Podcast 1. YouTube, Garage Talk Sports. We upload every week for that as well. Follow us on Spotify. You know the deal. We've been through this enough times. Thank you guys. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, see ya.